automation testing. Few might be already doing performance testing using Jmeter or LoadRunner, or few might be from development background. Few might be test leads, right? So for you, what it means by performance engineering, uh, or what you think you're going to learn. If you can just put that in the chat, I'll type in the Excel sheet. Okay. Um, let me share the screen. Okay, I'm sharing the screen, and I'll type in as you put it in the chat. Few people say Jmeter, LoadRunner, AppD, cloud performance. You can voice it over, or you can put it in the chat as per your convenience.
Hello Satish, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I belongs to the performance testing. Present we are using only Jmeter. Recently I have joined the course on LoadRunner, but I need to know because in my company wants to do performance engineering too. That's the reason I have joined here.
Okay. Good. So you're already doing performance testing in Jmeter, you said, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Shwatish. Shiraz this side.
Hi.
So from my side, like I have started working as a performance tester from 2019 for using a Jmeter and Neoload and
Good.
Dynatrace as a monitoring tools.
Good.
So my understanding, or actually my goal from this training is to learn more about engineering parts such as like JVM, CPU utilization, and those. I have used
Okay.
Dynatrace not that very much. So, and also I have recommended to dev team what need to be optimization as a if performance any a specific API not meeting SLA. So I have used just only for most of the time I have recommended for like a database. I have seen that using Dynatrace most of the time I have seen that a database is the culprit, and also memory, CPU. Those are I have recommended if meet that, but I want to learn more deep about JVM structure, how to optimize or like recommended CPU, memory utilization, memory leaking. Those part I am expecting from this training.
Okay.
Well.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Thank
Super.
you.
Thank you. The others, please put it in the chat. I have entered whatever you have given. Pretty much I have copied everything into the spreadsheet. Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. I expected even more huge list from you all, but that is still okay. GC.
Yeah,
Deadlock.
Satish. Good evening, Satish.
Yes.
Actually, myself, Basha, like I'm working on performance tester since 4 years, using a Jmeter and the Datadog, all the APM tools. But coming to here to learn the any bottleneck related to how it will be code optimization, giving the recommendation related to performance engineering level. That level of confidence I need to interested to take this training.
Okay. AI.
So Jmeter, we can identify the bottlenecks. After that, we will give the demo to the stakeholders related to the what value point we have expected everything. But how the code optimization we need to do, and where exactly we need to go dig into our root cause analysis. That chapter I need to know more about things.
If we need to know that, then only we can able to do conference.
Give the correct recommendations we need to give after the any version to version, what value we have given to performance side. These all details we need to know from my side. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Okay, super. So, yeah, I mean, whatever that is mentioned, except for tools, testing tools, right? So this course is not going to cover your testing tools. Though I will be using Jmeter for simulating for you users to put a load and then to look into the problems. But we are not going to learn Jmeter or LoadRunner tools. Okay, if anybody in the call, if you want to learn Jmeter and LoadRunner, let me know. There are courses available for this. Okay, yeah. So these two are not going to be part of the course itself. Apart from that, pretty much everything it will be covered one way or other at the various topics that we are going to cover in the course. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just go over the course topic. Maybe next 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, we'll go over the course topic so that you'll be able to relate whatever you said to the topics what we are going to cover. Right? You might have already seen the course content in the Isha website as well, but still I'll go over that very quickly. Okay, fine. So first of all, the objective of the course, right? You might, I mean, if as somebody or many of you have mentioned, right, you might be already doing some level of testing, performance testing, right? You might be doing scripting, execution using Jmeter or LoadRunner. You might be already doing some level of monitoring. At the end of the test, you will be providing your summary report from a testing tool. You might be using the Dynatrace or AppDynamics at a high level, right? But you will not be providing any bottleneck analysis, or you might not be doing any early performance engineering, your profiling kind of activity. At the end of the course, what we want you all to learn, and then you should be able to go and confidently say or put it in the profile, right? In top of your current skill set, be it as your Jmeter or LoadRunner, you should be able to go and say that I know server-side profiling. When I say server-side profiling, it's a response time CPU profiling, memory profiling, and the client-side profiling, right? And then you should be good at taking a heap dump, thread dump, and analyzing it. You should be able to go and take AWR snapshots and analyze the reports from a application performance perspective. You should be able to use tools like JProfiler, JVisualVM, JConsole more from a profiling and monitoring perspective. And you should be able to go and benchmark your JVM and tune your JVM. You should be able to easily go and use any profile, any APM tools for your deep dive diagnostics. Okay, and you should be able to go and monitor your server, your application using both open source and a commercial tool. Okay, so that is how you will see yourself after completing the course, and at least practicing once, at least having hands-on by yourself. Whatever I do, if you also do in your own laptop, that is what you're going to make yourself very, very confident in front of others. And though you might not have a real-time hands-on experience in engineering, but you can still go and tell anybody that you learned and you also practiced all these tools, all this concept by yourself. And that's going to make a huge difference when they compare a performance tester versus you with performance testing plus engineering knowledge and engineering hands-on. See, obviously, people who are experienced in that, right? People who are in engineering for 3 years, 4 years, obviously they are going to be rich in knowledge, and we're not going to compete with them. And obviously, their salary cap is also going to be huge, right? The expectation from the resource is also going to be very huge in terms of salary. So now, when it comes to, we are going to compete with the performance testers, right? When an organization like say Accenture, right? If they want to recruit a performance tester, okay, and then they are going to compare you with other tester, that is where you are going to have a huge um, difference and advantage. We are not going to compare with the 3-year, 5-year a person who are already experienced in engineering, right? That it will take time. What we want to do is you see nowadays with a lot of things getting automated, right? With AI, scripting is getting automated. A lot of your reporting is getting automated. So it is very important for you to cross skill or upskill and make yourself very relevant to the market, relevant to the organization. That is what this course is going to help you to do it, to compete with other performance testers and easily make a huge difference for the from an interview perspective or from a project perspective. With that, okay, what I will do is I'll go over the course topics, okay, and we'll go one by one, and also parallelly will show you a couple of applications what we are going to use it, so that you know the kind of hands-on we'll be doing it along these sessions. Okay. So this course, though it is pretty much targeted around Java, because in any enterprise application, there are many reasons why majorly we focus on Java, but we are also going to cover .NET and Python. Okay, but why majorly Java is, in many of the enterprise applications, you are still going to have Java. Python is there more from a backend analytics. There are going to be, if a company is a complete Microsoft-based organization, they might use .NET, but majorly we see still Java as a enterprise wide usage is still there. That's the number one reason. Number two, from an interview perspective, in a lot of places, you will be still questioned on JVM, around JVM architecture, garbage collection, everything around Java. Number two reason. So for these two reasons, most of our sessions are going to be targeted around Java. But still, I mean, there have been always questions when we talk about Java, why not .NET? Why not Python? So we also will focus on the .NET and Python, more from an architecture perspective, more from the profiling and analysis perspective. Okay, so you no need to worry about that. So that in an organization, obviously in any architecture, right, you will see a combination of technology. You will see Java, you will see Python, you might see Oracle, you might see NoSQL database. That's how any application is going to be, right? So what we'll do is we'll get started with the first topic of Java basics, very especially to bring you out of your comfort zone, right? So many times what happens is when we go and report a response time issue to a developer, they always going to challenge us, right? We'll have a very tough time in going and convincing them when we say that the application is having a response time problem. There are many errors. There are many failures. Now you're going to go and talk about their code. You're going to say their a particular class is taking high response time. A particular method is taking high response time. Or object is having a leak, right? Now, if you're not confident on what you're speaking, it's going to be very difficult for you to go and confidently speak to a developer. They will easily go and ask a couple of questions. We will not have answer, and it will put us in the back step very easily. So the first step or first topic, what we will do is we'll try to go and break that myth. Okay, we will try to understand from a developer perspective what is class, what is object, what is method, purely from a understanding perspective. Okay, for you to come out of that shell. We'll write some programs. We'll try to use Eclipse. We'll try to compile program. We'll see how application structure is going to be from a classes, from a packages. All these things, don't worry. I'm not expecting you to be knowing all these things at all, right? Idea is to get you introduced in that world of development, so that it is not going to be a black box. We are not here to go and develop code or develop application. That's not our job. But we should understand the environment. We should understand what a developer is going to do it, how he's going to compile, how he's going to package it, how he's going to connect to a database, how he's going to create a WAR file or a jar file, how he's going to deploy it. This is something not a rocket science. This is not going to involve any greater technical skill. Even if you think that you're not technical, this is not going to be technical. Okay. It's going to be put in a very simple way so that you can learn. So Java basics, JVM basics is going to be the first thing which we will learn. That will put yourself in a very good shape to put everything in a very white box, right? Whatever you want to learn. From there, we will move on to a early performance engineering. Okay, early performance engineering is when a developer is going to develop an application, we will involve much early in the life cycle, and then we are going to do certain things. Take the API, take the functionality, and then do a response time profiling, do a leak analysis, memory leak analysis, optimize your functionality, a single user, single functionality before you go for a full-blown load test. Okay, so for the profiling, we'll be using tools like JProfiler, your access logs, your dev tools, and you're also going to get access to the I'll be using a E library application. Okay, so this is something I will provide you the Tomcat, and also I'll provide you the required WAR file, which you can deploy it in your laptop. Okay, I'll also give the code. If at all you need a code, I'll also give the code to you, which you can use it. Okay, the way we will do is we are going to deploy the WAR files, which is going to have a problem, right? Performance problem, a response time problem, a memory problem, a thread problem, and then we will try to analyze it. We'll use tool like JProfilers to profile it, find out the problem at the code level, and then go to the code and see how the code is going to look like. Though we are not in a project, we are not going to touch the code. We might not even get a code for yours to look into it. It's always going to be out of scope. Okay, majority of the places. But from a learning perspective, since we also have a code of this e-library project, we'll go there and see what is the code, and we will go and fix it, and then again go and test and profile it. That's how we are going to do it. Okay, so this Tomcat, this e-library application deployed in the Tomcat, I'll give to you. Everything is going to be, all the software which I'm going to use it, right? It's going to be there in the drive. Okay, be it as a Jmeter scripts or the all the WAR file for memory leak. For example, right, if it is going to be a memory leak related topic, you can come to this drive. You can download the respective WAR file with memory issue, without memory issue, and you can start your Tomcat. I'll tell you how to install the Tomcat, how to deploy the WAR file, all these things. You will learn as we go into the session from tomorrow. But this drive will have every document, every software that is required for you to do hands-on. Whatever I do, everything, be a commercial tool or open source tool, you should be able to do it. Even AppDynamics or a Dynatrace or a Grafana-based monitoring, a JProfiler, right? Whatever tools we are going to use it, you would be able to use it in your laptop. All the commercial tools provide you a trial license. Okay, a JProfile, being a JProfiler or Dynatrace or AppDynamics provides you a trial license which you can register and use it. Other open source tools, I will also upload it to the. It is also there in the drive. I'll also say where to download it. So pretty much whatever I do in my laptop during a session, you will be able to go back in the weekdays, practice, and then come back and then ask questions. That's how it is going to be. Okay. Fine. So this drive, I'll given access to you. Whoever already registered, made payment, I have given access to them. Whoever is going to register today or tomorrow, you can provide provide the email ID. I'll provide the access. Okay. So coming back to our topics. Yeah. So we will start with the early performance engineering, right? So say for example, in this e-library application, okay, say I did a login, right? Login might have a problem. If I go to a view librarian, it's a library application. So I go to view librarian. This view librarian might have a memory problem. I do an add librarian. This might have another issue. Okay. So depending upon what topic we are going to learn, we will go and deploy the WAR file and then traverse through this e-library application and then find out the problem and then find out the root cause of the problem as well. That's how we are going to learn. Okay. So initially, we'll start with the CPU profiling and memory profiling. For both, we will be using JProfiler. For memory, we will have a very deep dive sessions on Java heap Java Stack, because both are very, very important from a garbage collection perspective also. So we'll have pretty much 5-6 hour very comprehensive sessions on memory leak analysis, heap dump analysis, and garbage collection analysis. Okay, how to take a heap dump, when to take a heap dump, what is a pattern that you'll be looking in during an endurance test, and from a garbage collection, what is something you'll be looking into the GC logs, minor GC, major GC, what are the various segment in your heap, your young generation and old generation, how to alter these young generation and old generations size, when to change it, what are the various tuning flags, what are the various collectors, right? All these things we will be learning from a memory perspective. Okay, so starting from Java heap, Java stack, memory leak analysis, heap dump, garbage collection, it's going to be a very comprehensive 5, 6, 7 hours sessions that will happen for a memory. From there, we will go to threads. See, if you see that order of that sequencing of the topic, right? If you take any server, okay, from a performance engineering perspective, our objective is to obviously to maintain good performance. But if you look into from a business perspective or from the organization perspective, it has to save money. How are we going to save money? Every server is a money, right? You want to spend money, correct? And every server is going to have a CPU. It is going to have a RAM, right? Even if you're going to buy a laptop, you will say you need a 8 gig RAM and 4-core CPU, right? So always there is going to be a limit. There is going to be a CPU limit. There is going to be a RAM limit. Okay, your application which is going to get deployed in that machine is going to consume CPU. It's going to consume memory. So our ultimate aim is to make sure your application, your each and every functionality is not over consuming it. It should optimally consume it. Unnecessarily, it should not take high response time. Unnecessarily, it should not take high memory. There should not be memory leak. It will consume CPU. It will consume memory. There is no other way, right? Even if you open a Word document in your laptop, it is going to consume CPU and memory. That we cannot do anything. But it should optimally consume it. So there should not be memory leak. There should not be high response time. That is what we are learning to do it in the early engineering. If response time is high, why it is high? Can we reduce it? If there's a memory leak, why it is leaking? Arrest that memory leak. By doing that, you will be optimally using CPU, optimally using memory. So if you do it for every major functionality like login, search, checkout, payment, order history, for every critical functionality, if you're going to do this early performance engineering, then you're going to optimally use a CPU and memory, which is going to improve your capacity, right? Your server will be optimally used. Instead of 20 servers, if your code is, if your application is having a problem, you might use 20 servers. Now you might be using only 10. Now this 10 server is your savings. So that's how you're going to help your organization in benefiting from the cost. Okay, so performance engineering is all about how you can optimally use your CPU, how optimally you can use your memory by giving a good performance experience to your user. That's a very simple thing. If somebody asks you what is the objective of performance engineering, this is a simple thing that you can tell to anybody. Okay, yeah. Now, so that's why we learned these memory topics, your response time, CPU profiling, and then we go into the thread. Thread is indirectly related as well because every thread is going to consume CPU. A thread is the one which is going to execute your code, right? So more thread, more CPU. Okay, so we learn about thread contentions, how to configure threads, when to take a thread dump, what are the very symptoms pattern that will lead you to take a thread dump, what is the tools available for taking a thread dump, how are you going to analyze a thread dump, deadlock conditions, as somebody mentioned, right? Deadlock conditions in the thread locks. All these things we'll learn from a thread perspective also. One of the very, very modern or one of the very sought out analysis is client-side profiling, client-side analysis, especially for your e-commerce site, for your .com applications. Your client-side profiling is very, very important. Okay. So when it comes to client-side profiling, it is to make sure that your end users are going to have a very good experience. I load a page. I don't worry about, as an end user, I'm not worrying about whether my server is having good RAM or good CPU, whether it is having memory leak or not. As a user, you or me opening Amazon.com, we will see whether the page is getting loaded in 3 seconds. Okay, whether everything is loading as expected, whether my experience is good. When I go from one page to another page, I should not see a blank page. Okay, I should be able to easily navigate, easily do my operation. That's an experience, client-side experience we will measure. So client-side testing, client-side profiling, optimization, all we will learn from a client-side profiling perspective. Okay, now after all these are pretty much from a early performance. Okay, except for the thread dump, which we will do it during the thread dump and heap dump are meant to be done during a load test or endurance test, right? Apart from that, everything or whatever we are going to learn, initial 8-10 sessions are going to be early performance engineering. And then we will move on to the next segment, I would say, architecture and monitoring strategy. Okay, so by looking into an architecture, we should be able to know what are the components are there in your application, and then how are we going to monitor it. Creating a monitoring strategy is very, very important, like your testing strategy. Okay, we spend a lot of time in scripting, right? We spend a lot of time in execution. For what? To observe problem, to monitor the problem. So every component has to be monitored. So we have to do a monitoring strategy. That is also we'll go and learn. From there, we'll go and look into some of the very important monitoring tools. AppDynamics, Dynatrace, both are leading APM tool. Okay, so we'll learn both from a configuration. Both these two APM tool we will configure with the APM with our e-library application. Okay, I have already registered for AppDynamics today. It is up and running against my e-library application. Okay, so last 3 hours. Let me log in again. So both the AppDynamics and Dynatrace we will learn from a APM perspective, and from open source monitoring, right? We will go and learn Grafana with Telegraph. Let me the 3 hours. Okay, so this is a AppDynamics account, and this is already monitoring my e-library application. Okay, if you see your admin login, view librarian, add librarian, all are functionality that is there in the my e-library application. Right? This application is getting monitored by AppDynamics Live. Okay, so we'll learn this, and also the Dynatrace. Dynatrace I haven't registered intentionally because Dynatrace provides you only 15 days or 20 days trial account. Okay, so probably I'll register it if possible tomorrow, so that I can show you that as well. So both AppDynamics and Dynatrace you will learn from a configuration perspective and from monitoring, diagnostics, all from these 3 different levels. We will go and learn both AppDynamics and Dynatrace. Open source is everywhere. So from a monitoring perspective, from an infra monitoring perspective, we will go and configure a Telegraph, Inflex, and Grafana, and we'll see how to use Grafana monitoring for your infrastructure. Right? When it comes to monitoring, you have to monitor your infra, you have to monitor your application, and you have to do a diagnostics. So from an open source, we will try to see how we can at least monitor your infrastructure or your host. We cannot do diagnostics and all. There is no open source tool largely available for monitor for your diagnostics, deep dive diagnostics. Okay, that you have to use Dynatrace or AppDynamics, but at least not every project will have AppDynamics or Dynatrace because it is very costly. Some of the small projects, some of the small organization, they will not do diagnostics. At least you need a basic app monitoring or your infra monitoring. So from that perspective, we'll go and learn Telegraph and Grafana. Okay, so with these tools, we will try to see how to troubleshoot a response time problem, how to analyze the response time problem, to do a diagnostics, troubleshooting the latency issues, right? Because many times your LoadRunner, Jmeter, load generators will have a latency problem with your app service. And in some of the cloud applications, there's a very big latency expected between your database in on-prem versus application server in the cloud. So from all this perspective, you'll see how to troubleshoot these latency problems. Okay. From there till now, everything is around application, right? From there, we will move to the database side of your architecture. We'll try to learn Oracle database architecture. Okay. Your how to analyze your AWR report, when to take the AWR report, how to take the snapshots, and what to look into it. We are not going to be DBS. We are not going to be database performance engineer. We are going to be application performance engineer. From that perspective, we will go and look into AWR report and then see some of the very good important concepts like your buffer cache, your parsing efficiency, hard parsing, soft parsing. All these things we'll learn from a database perspective. Okay. Now, with all these things, then we will enter into some of the theoretical steps. Till now, pretty much everything is going to be combination of concepts plus hands-on practical. But from here, we will move on to some of the theoretical concepts like NFR, non-functional requirement, engineering strategy, how to write an engineering strategy, what are all things that will be part of your non-functional requirement, how you should go and define your workload as an engineer, not as a tester, right? Those things we will learn. Okay. Now, some of these topics which are going to be very important from a future readiness, right? Though they are not really in engineering, but those are all future ready things. Okay. So from that perspective, introduction to DevOps and synthetic monitoring using Dynatrace. Okay. Both videos are nothing but my own videos will be given to you on the day 1 or day 2 once you make a payment and register it, so that you can look into it whenever you get time, and then we can have a clarification session whenever you guys have a question. The reason is we have added many more important topics, so these topics are also important, but it's not exactly engineering, right? Introduction to DevOps, what you have to do it in DevOps, in integrating performance testing tool with Jenkins, what are all things you need to consider to make this successful. All these things will be there in this 4 to 5 hour video. And synthetic monitoring, production synthetic monitoring using Dynatrace, that's also very for a SRE, it's a very important thing. That also it is there in the video. You can also look into it. Any questions, I'll be answering it live during a session, but these things will be available right in the first day itself. First day or second day, they will provide you the video. Okay. And then we'll also go on, as I said, .NET Python apps. I have .NET, both .NET and Python apps are running in my mission. Or that also I'll give it to you. So we'll go and understand the architecture, how different it is going to be from Java, and then we'll also see how to monitor and profile it. Okay. Cloud performance, as somebody asked, right? Cloud performance is something very much in the talk, but is it really going to be different from on-prem cloud? We will try to learn what is the myth around it. Do we really need performance testing for cloud? Why they are saying performance will be taken care by cloud? All the myths we will discuss. What is additional scenarios you have to execute in cloud when it comes to cloud resiliency, auto scaling, all these from a introduction to cloud performance we'll go and learn. Again, when we say cloud, people talk about Kubernetes, nodes, pods, container. So we also go and try to go look into how this architecture is going to look like from an introduction to Kubernetes. That is also we will learn. Okay. As a bonus video, like DevOps and synthetic monitoring, Linux is one more thing that you need to learn, because in project you might have Linux, Windows will be there, but Linux is something very common in a production service, right? So you should know how to use Linux, how to access Linux, how to transfer files, how to install your Jmeter, how to do some basic monitoring. So Linux you should know definitely. So my own recorded video, 4, 5, 6 hours video will be available for Linux as well. Okay. And then additionally, to automate your client-side performance, there is also a approach towards it. 6 hours of video is given for the performance automation using Selenium also. So pretty much all these things is what you will learn in the around 24, 25 sessions. I don't know exactly how much is going to be, depending upon the interactiveness, depending upon the questions that we get, right? It is going to be around 24, 25 hours. Okay. Excuse me. Fine. What I'll do is I'll pass it here. Okay. For the next 10 minutes. Tomorrow probably I'll go into a particular topic, and then I'll try to explain you so that you will get to a understanding of how my teaching style is going to be. That I'll pocket for tomorrow. Now for the next 5-10 minutes, anybody have any questions, put it in the chat, or you can voice over and then ask your questions. Feel free to ask, guys.
Hey, Shutish, Shiraz again here. I have one question about
Sure, go ahead.
architecture of like how does exactly work. So my current organization, just take an example, for UI development, they are using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. As UI developer, write the code and push into GitHub. Same way, backend developer, they are writing their own code in Java, and they are pushing to GitHub. And same way, DBA also doing. And along like they are also using Jenkins, also using Docker, Kubernetes, and then Azure. Finally, Azure DevOps. I mean Azure Cloud. Their question is, and also they mention they are using Apache for web server and Tomcat as a application server and Microsoft SQL as a database server. Question is here, how that is like work till Azure DevOps, Azure Cloud.
What is that? What is that you are trying to ask me now? What is the question you are trying to ask?
Question is like, let's say a developer writing their own code, right? And push to GitHub once they are satisfied. Now Jenkins come to the picture. What is Jenkins do here? Like automate and build a Docker image.
Okay.
And Docker image take to the Kubernetes.
Okay.
And Kubernetes, they configure Kubernetes, like how many pods is needed. Finally, they deploy to Azure
Okay.
Cloud.
Okay.
Here, let's say in Azure Cloud, there is a 8 pod, right? And is that means, let's say their application server is a Tomcat, that Tomcat is 8, once come to the cloud, it's a become a pod?
No. No. See, I can deploy my Java application in Tomcat in my laptop. Okay, for example, my Java E library application is running in a Tomcat. Correct?
Correct.
Now, in my laptop, I can set up Kubernetes. I can create a pod. Okay, and the Docker image you're talking, right? The Docker image is nothing but it will have instructions saying that I need Java, I need Tomcat. I will pull war file from this directory, and it is going to download Tomcat, download Java, and it is going to set up the war file, and it's going to be inside. It is going to everything is going to run inside a container in a pod. Okay, so the way the reason they have brought in this Kubernetes Docker container is to I would say to minimize or to reduce all these dependency issue. If you see earlier, right, what will happen is if I go to deploy everything in a development environment, and then I take to a QA environment, and then I take it to a maybe a SIT environment. People will say that the same code is working in dev environment, it's not working in QA. Working in QA, it is not working in UAT. The reason is all these small dependencies, right? For example, an environmental variable might be missing. Maybe one of the jar might be missing, or the Tomcat version is different from one machine to another machine, right? Now with Docker image, that one of the very reason they have come up with this images is to standardize, to bring in this kind of a consistency in deployment. The Docker image or container is going to ease out your deployment and reduce your deployment issue. That's a very important reason why they moved into a Docker based environment. Okay, so whatever you asked, Tomcat in on-prem is not pod in cloud. No, even in pod you need Tomcat. It's a web server. Okay, pod is a more excuse me. Pod is a more of a logical partitioning that is going to be sitting in a mission. So you will have a mission. In the mission, you will install Kubernetes related softwares. There, you will create an entity, something called pod. In that pod, you will deploy your Tomcat. So Tomcat will be still there. That's the reason I'm saying underneath it's always going to be your Tomcat and Java application. Nothing is going to be different. Either I'm going to install my application in my laptop or in a cloud VM or inside a Kubernetes pod. Its application is same. Your application will have a problem. If it is having a problem in my laptop, in my on-prem, it will have a problem in the Kubernetes pod also. Kubernetes pod or your Docker is not going to take care of your performance at all. Okay, performance issues are still going to be there. If your code is having a problem, it will have a problem everywhere. Okay, so don't confuse with the Tomcat versus pod. No, Tomcat also will be there definitely.
So, like what I understand, that's let's say Tomcat will be running on Azure DevOps, right? Let's say
Yes,
Azure
yes.
Cloud.
Yes,
Tomcat is running
correct.
Azure. Tomcat is running Azure Cloud, right?
Correct.
So, question here is about the pods. Let's say some issue with the pods. There is a pod, and they replace as a two pod.
Okay.
Increase the pod
Stop.
number of two.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay. What we'll do is we'll take this offline because this is more in terms of questions related to the topics what we're going to learn. Let's not go into the specific doubt you might have with a pod or Kubernetes. That I can definitely answer you, but 100% I'll answer you. But this next 10 minutes, I want to make use of to clarify questions around the topics what we are going to cover. Okay, so please excuse me. I'll answer it. What you can do is you can send me a voice note. I'll reply to you, or maybe in the once the sessions are started, right? This topic is very important topic. It's a very good topic as well. Though this is not part of the course, will have the discussion in the session itself. Not today, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Then sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for understanding. Yeah, others can go ahead.
Yeah, hi Satish. Abhijit this side.
Yeah.
So basically, what I will suggest, like, is it possible to give us a overall overview of the architecture? Like, for example, what I'm trying to say is that starting from deployment of an application WAR file to how do you generally in the web server, how does the Nginx route it, right? There is few concepts like reverse proxy, VPC, and all. So I think those things also kind of impact the overall response time and latency of an application. Depending upon how does the exactly the firewall route the incoming request into the ingress, and from ingress how does it go to the application server. So if we can get an overall overview of those things, it will be really helpful.
Sure, point noted. We'll try to cover that during the architecture session, the monitoring strategy, right? We'll try to include that from what happens from the beginning to end, the routing. We'll try to cover definitely.
Yeah, hope like whenever a user hits a request, right? So how does exactly it follows the total roadmap? So those kind of information. Oh,
Sure. So one more question, like I can see it in the chat. Can we cover logs? How to analyze it? During your early performance engineering, right? I'll cover the access log as well. How to look into the access log and to troubleshoot the response time problem. The Splunk is something. I think access will be given for you to for a Splunk. I think 6, 7 or more than 7, 8 hours session on Splunks. That also will be useful for you for the question whatever you asked. But yeah, I'll also cover that more from response time analysis. I'll cover that during the response time profiling.
Yeah, thanks, Satish.
Sure.
Yeah. Hi, Sadish. Gokul here.
Yeah, Gokul.
I'm working in Infosys, working for an Australian client. So there in those organization, most of our projects are hosted in AWS, like microservices, API, and Kafka based. So now they are pushing us to automate everything through pipeline. So currently, Perf leads, they are pushing us to move all our scripts and everything through Gatling and run through harness pipeline. So will it be that future like all the performance scripts will be running through pipeline only?
Even now, I would say out of 100 organization, 2 or 3 like very mature people, right, who do deployment every 1 hour, every 5 hours, they do deployments. So those places, there are performance testing running in a pipeline. Okay, it depends upon maturity level. Okay, it depends upon maturity level. It depends upon the automation that they have it in the pipeline also. Okay, but it's not going to be 100% everywhere. The pipeline is not going to replace a traditional scripting execution that is still be required, but a part of that, right, regression suite. The minimal regression suite will always be running in a pipeline, so that it will make sure that certain things are not broken always, especially microservices, right? All the existing microservices we can easily run into the pipeline, because mostly it won't only UI will get impacted, right? UI scripts will get impacted, but the services like post, get, put, and all, there's no nothing to break. It's all payload. Only data you have to ensure that you can pass the data right in a then executed. That's very much easily practically doable. But that is nothing going to take away our job. Okay, that's why it's very important you not to be stagnant. Just doing a scripting and execution is not going to help. At least you have to either upskill you to a performance engineering, or you have to cross skill to other areas like security testing or automation testing. Either of one is definitely required going forward.
Thanks, Satish.
Yeah. Others, anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, Satish. Yeah, I have couple of questions.
Please,
Actually,
please.
for this, any code language, deep code language needed for performing new topics?
No, not at all. We don't need to learn. See, it is always good to, if somebody knows Java or Python, it is always good. But definitely, it's not going to be a showstopper or a mandatory one to know coding for doing engineering. Not at all.
Okay. And this training will be every day. Live training will be happen, or only video sections will be?
No. It's going to be a live Saturday and Sunday. Same time, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday. You will have the live sessions, and the recording will be done. And on Monday morning or Monday afternoon, you will get the recording for both the days. So that's how it is going to work.
Only weekends will be happening training, correct?
It's a weekend training. Yeah, same time. Today, right, 7:30 to 9, 2 hours to 7:30 to 9:30, both the Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
But you will get a recording. If you miss it, you will also get a recording, which is always going to be available for you. There's no expiry for the videos.
Okay. And one more thing, after the training session, if you have any future doubts will be there, how much support will we going to give? How many days, if you have any validity time like that?
There is no validity. You can always put a message on the WhatsApp, same WhatsApp group, or you can message me. Only thing is, very specific support for your project, I might not be able to give it. But otherwise, your questions, clarifications, immediately I will not be able to pick your call. But maybe within a day, you can expect me to come back with a voice note. That is always going to be there.
Relative things we will ask, any doubts like related to work, training level. Not for project level, we cannot ask directly from any chart.
Correct. That you can always do it, or what you can also say, for example, one of the thread dump, right? If you have doubts, you can join. My batches will happen every month. There are 2 batches, weekday batches and weekend batches. So if you want to attend another session for thread dump, you can always reach out to me. For that day alone, I'll send you a link and you can join. That's how people do it.
Okay. Okay. And basically, which tool we are using for training, Jmeter or LoadRunner?
See,
If
for my
any education.
scripts, I'll be using Jmeter only, but it's just to pump some load. Otherwise, it's all going to be
correct.
engineering tools only. Testing from a testing perspective, yes, Jmeter scripts are there, and I'll be using Jmeter only.
Okay, got it. That's it from my end. Thank you, Satish. Clarification for my question.
No problem. No problem. No
Satish,
problem.
I have
Hi
a
Satish.
question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah, so will you provide any certificate on completion of this course?
Yes, you will get a performance engineering certificate from Isha once you complete the course.
Okay, and is there any assessment for that?
No, there is no assessment as of now. We are planning to come up with an assessment in the future, but not now. So at least for next 2 batches, there won't be any assessment. So you'll get the certificate once the batch is completed. You will get the certification.
Okay, thank you.
Hi Satish, Abhijit this side again.
Yeah,
So,
hi.
when you talk about the cross skilling, right? So, just a slight bit, a little bit of career perspective, I'm asking. So, I've been into kind of a full stack way. Like, I have knowledge on the automation. I've worked in few automation projects, and currently I'm working as a performance tester here, like bit of engineering. So, when you talk about cross skill, right, which would be the best pathway for somebody like from the QA background, which would be future proof with a better salary growth and career growth in the future, like whether it would be the SRE profile or something that's part of DevOps or cloud engineer or cyber security as you mentioned. So what should be the best way?
It depends. Okay, so upskilling is you are going to upskill from testing to engineering plus SRE and the cloud, right? It's all, when I say cloud, it's cloud performance. So cloud performance, resiliency, chaos, SRE, all these things put together is going to be your upskilling. You're going to go deep dive into your performance area itself. There is also going to be that's a very good career path to be taken. Since you are already know automation, now you're learning performance, right? So this is more of a cross skilling, right? So for testing, you're trying to increase your breadth. In a lot of places, you don't have a lot of people to in a pod based project. You might have only 1 or 2 performance testers, 1 or 2 automation testers. So there they expect everyone to do everything. So there are a lot of agile projects who expect people to do both automation and performance, right? So this is also a good career path where if you are going to be a multi-skill person, you are going to be still a SME in one area. So you might be a SME in automation, but if you also know performance, it's going to be a really value add. So depends upon person to person, but both are going to be equally good. You can go very deep in your career in a particular skill, like performance itself is good, or you can also do a cross skilling. Both have weightages in the current industry. Only thing is you cannot be with one skill. That is going to be a problem.
Okay. Thanks, Satish. Thank you.
Sure.
Hello, Satish.
Yeah, hi.
Dilip here. Earlier I said, right, I belongs to performance background and with a tool like Jmeter. Is this required to learn both tools like LoadRunner and Jmeter and attend to this section, or else any one tool is enough?
So you already learning LoadRunner, correct?
Yeah, I do have experience in Jmeter, but I am learning in LoadRunner. Recently, I have joined on 4th February in Isha only.
Oh, okay. You currently working for performance testing project?
Yeah, the
In
Jmeter.
Jmeter?
Yes.
Okay, great. See, if you are working in Jmeter, which is very good because it's an open source tool. A lot of places people expect Jmeter. LoadRunner is good, but it's not going to be mandatory. And learning LoadRunner is going to be very easy since you already know Jmeter. So since you said that you have experience Jmeter, then I think under otherwise you have a requirement in your project where you need LoadRunner. But from your career perspective and from moving to, if you're going to planning to switch over to some other project, or some other company, then engineering is going to be really a value add. Since you already know Jmeter, if other way around, if you would have said me, I know LoadRunner, I don't know Jmeter, then I would have told you to learn Jmeter, because in the outside world, Jmeter is going to be very much been going to be required. A lot of places people don't invest in LoadRunner. They want only Jmeter. Okay.
Yeah,
So since you already know Jmeter, you're good already.
Yeah. Okay. That's the thing only. Because in my project, LoadRunner is not enough. But the thing is, for my career perspective, in outside also, right? Only one tool is not enough. Because some companies are having Jmeter, some companies are using both LoadRunner and Jmeter. At that time, I was blacklisted like that. If I learn two or two tools, right, then for my back also will get good, right?
The thing is, if you go and say that confidently, see, you cannot keep on learning tools, right? In another place, you might have new load. The learning curve for new tool is going to be very, very small, because your recording, scripting, parameterization, correlation, error handling concepts are not going to change. Only the syntax is going to change. So if you're strong in these areas, you can, even in interview, you can say that learning another tool, it's going to be 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's it, right? You're already good in Jmeter. You can easily learn LoadRunner.
Yes.
So you have to tell. Even the APM tool, right? I will learn Dynatrace. I cannot go and learn Datadog. I cannot go and learn Neuralink. But in the project, there might be having Neuralink. It is going to be a week, 1 week time should be good enough for you to go and learn Neuralink to start using it. So we cannot be a tool expert. We have to be a expert in the performance domain. So once we are strong in that domain, tool is something we can easily switch over. That's how we have to answer it as well. So if you ask me, since you asked me, right, whether to learn LoadRunner or engineering, I would say engineering. If you'd asked me Jmeter or engineering, I would have told Jmeter, since you don't know. If you want to debate between Jmeter, yeah, depends. Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah.
Perfect. I got it. Yeah, qualification. Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Satish, I'm sorry. I'm asking too many questions. I have one
No
more
problem.
question here about Jmeter.
Good.
You mentioned Jmeter is open source tools. That's true, but we can script using Jmeter tools, but we need some type of platform to run the test, like a Blazemeter, right? So Blazemeter is
Not
not
necessarily. No. You can do execution. You from a monitoring perspective, you have to use something like a Grafana, okay, so that you will be able to go and look into the load testing results in a more visualized way. In a lot of places, people don't use Blazemeter. Okay, with their money, they will use Blazemeter. If not, they can go with a master-slave architecture, and then they can send the data to InfluxDB and Grafana, and they can monitor everything in the Grafana. In many places, people use this kind of components for load testing.
like a master-slave configuration.
Yeah, you can use multiple slaves, and only problem is live monitoring. Jmeter doesn't have a live monitoring. Once the test is completed, right, you will not get all the very fancy charts. For that, there is an option available with the open source, InfluxDB and Grafana.
But when you use the Jmeter and master-slave configuration, once test is completed, Jmeter itself is provided a HTML report, correct? We can.
That's a report. That's the end of. That's end. At the end, you will get a report. Okay.
Correct.
But when the test is running, you wanted to monitor, right?
Okay, then we can use a Grafana.
Yes, exactly.
Just monitoring perspective, and as a report, just live monitoring. That's all. Right?
Yes. It's in LoadRunner you use controller and our performance center UI, right? Or in the Blazemeter also you'll be doing the same thing. Instead of that, you will be using Grafana to do a live test monitoring.
Okay, I got the point. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. No problem.
Satish, if the focus is even to learn the Jmeter scripting, whether this course would be helpful to us or not?
No. Unfortunately, yeah. The reason is this is very focused on engineering, right? So Jmeter scripting is not going to be part of that. There is a separate courses available for learning Jmeter itself. Okay, so that I can tell you. You can ask Kumar sir. But this course is not for learning JMeter. It's going to be the sessions will become very huge. So it is very tailored for engineering beginner to intermediate. Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing is in the syllabus, mostly the curriculum, the focus is on related to only the Java, like first, like if possible, like if we are having some around 9 to 10 day sessions, like could you please tell me like 2 day sessions would be on Java, and like 1 day session would be on the observability, that kind of overview if possible, so that we will see like if that would be helpful to us or not.
Okay. Tomorrow I'll tell you. Probably the schedule is what you're asking, right?
Exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'll give it to you
At
tomorrow.
least that relevance is there. I will
Sure.
we'll see for enrollment. Yeah. That's
Sure.
all. Mostly
I'll
I'm looking
publish
for
it tomorrow.
related to tools. So if the focus is mostly on the Java or somewhere, we will understand at least where would be the more focus, because
I
we are having
understand.
how many sessions would be there, right? Yeah.
Sure. I'll publish it tomorrow.
Sure. Okay then. Yeah. Thanks.
Sure.
Do we need any prior knowledge on JMeter for this course? Because I
No,
have
no,
mostly
no.
worked on LoadRunner.
No, not required. Not required at all. I'll provide you the Jmeter scripts and very simple scripts that will help you to even get started with the Jmeter itself, right? But you don't need any prior experience for learning or for using Jmeter here, because I'm just going to use few scripts for login, view librarian, add librarian, which already is there. You just need to open it and run it if you wanted to practice it and so on, right? So no prior knowledge on Jmeter is required.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We'll stop it here. We can continue tomorrow if you have any questions, right? We can continue tomorrow, or even the daytime if somebody have any questions on to discuss on the relevancy. Maybe you might have 2 year, 3 year experience. If you want to know whether it is going to be useful or not, feel free to message me. My name is Satish, as I said. I'll drop my WhatsApp number in the group now. You can just message me directly, and then we can connect sometime mutually whenever we are available tomorrow. We'll connect and then discuss. Otherwise, we can discuss in the call also tomorrow. Okay.
Tomorrow
Anybody have
also
questions?
have the demo, Satish?
Yes. Tomorrow also it's going to be demo session. Yes, tomorrow also it's going to be demo session, same time. Okay. Anybody have any questions on the payment registration? You can reach out to Kumar sir. Anything on the topics, anything on you want to discuss on the applicability of this course for you, you can reach out to me.
Sure.
Hi Satish, Geeta here. Actually, I want to know, can I join the weekdays classes for this?
Yeah, weekdays. My next batch will start on first week of March. So if you want weekend, you can join if you want weekdays, you have to wait for maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or
But it is
else I
planned
can
already.
continue with the.
Satish, you have taken the similar classes, or this is a completely new one?
Yeah, exactly. My
Performance.
question also same.
No,
Right?
I'm doing it for last 2.5 years. This is my 20th or 23rd batch, I think.
Oh, for performance engineering. Oh.
Yeah. Yes. As I said, I've been doing it from COVID time, I would say.
No, same topics you are covering, or else
No, we have
different?
added lot. We have added lot many over the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Last
We
time,
have added a lot of topics.
yeah, last year I have saw your in Isha. At that time, the course are different and not different, same, but this
Yes.
February this is somewhat
See,
increased.
every 3 months, every 6 months, you will see some new topics getting added,
Yeah, exactly.
and a few old things will go into a recorded video. That's how we do it.
Okay, got the point.
And one more thing I want to ask. Actually, I was interested in Dynatrace tool. So it is covering in this completely, or I need to do it separately?
See, it is covered here definitely. Okay, but
Okay.
if you are going to be part of administration, there are two things, right? Performance monitoring and diagnostics,
Mm-hmm.
or if you want to be a Dynatrace admin, which I don't think so. But in case if you wanted to be a Dynatrace admin, then you might have to take a different course, because there it will involve setting up the Dynatrace infrastructure, all the components. That's going to be a very huge thing. See, even for example, LoadRunner Performance Center, right? ALM, we will not do it. It will be done by the admins. We'll only consume it. So same way, Dynatrace also, if you are going to consume it, if you are going to monitor diagnostics, then my session should be good enough. But if you are going to be in Dynatrace admin, then you have to take a different course.
Okay, okay. And is it possible if I continue with this and after 1 March, I will continue with this weekdays batches?
Yeah, that is also fine. That should be okay. Yeah, you can just inform Kumar sir.
Okay,
I don't think you will have a problem. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay, guys. We'll stop it here then. Thanks a lot. That was a very interactive session. We'll meet same time tomorrow, guys. Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, Satish.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Satish.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you for the wonderful
Yeah.
session.